Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll be looking at mergers and acquisitions and why 2021 was such a good year and why 2022 is shaping up to be an even better one. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So I have to confess, I know nothing about the world of mergers and acquisitions. I think about movies like Wall Street, and I'm sure it's not anything like that world, but you know, it's featured in Hollywood films all the time, and all I think about is high finance. I don't understand even the numbers that go along with companies like that. To talk about that today, Eric White, he is the CEO of EBB Group. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, well, let's start with Wall Street, the movie. I mean, was that a mergers and acquisition company that Gordon Gekko was running?
It's funny you ask that. I get asked that all the time, actually. And there's one huge difference. I enjoyed the movie, by the way. It was very interesting, but it had very little to do with my world. And the reason it didn't, in the movie Wall Street, the basic premise was that they bought a company and they broke it up into a bunch of pieces. Well, that doesn't really happen today, in today's world. So buyers of companies are looking to keep exactly what has been built over 20, 30, 40 years and just grow it, enhance it.
Yes.
So it's like the exact opposite of Wall Street, Gordon Gekko, and I certainly don't want to be perceived as a Gordon Gekko.
No.
But we help companies grow their company, and so it's different than breaking it up.
Sure. Let's talk about the last couple of years. So we were talking before the show, 2020 was a bad year.
It was, yeah, because of COVID, and not for the reasons you would think, because of just all the disruption COVID had, but everybody knows about PPP money that was out there, and so the big difference was that the banks were so concerned with just having businesses survive. Really, that was the key. And so they were putting all their focus on PPP monies, getting it out to these companies. Many of them would not have survived if it had not been for that. And so that was the reason 2020 was such a bad year, is because you just couldn't get a deal closed by the banks.
And this year has been a great year.
I started the company 26 years ago. 2021 is shaping up to be our best year ever. Now we have 2 months left before everything is finalized, but if things come through as they should, what we're already working on, this will be our best year in 26 years. And the reason for that, you and I talked a little bit before the show, is there's just so much pent up demand. In our world, in the merger and acquisition world, companies have to spend money or they lose it. That's what private equity is. They raise capital, and they raise capital for the purpose of buying companies. And then the companies, they want to get a return on their investment and all of that. And so that's why the market is so good. There's just so much money in the marketplace.
And next year is shaping up to look even better?
I think so. All the signs are positive. Whether you agree with the administration now or not, it's kind of irrelevant, but a lot of the factors in the marketplace are very strong. Interest rates are low, confidence is high, COVID's coming to an end, hopefully. And banks are readily looking to loan money, and a lot of money on the sideline, like I told you. So
outstanding. Now you work in 15 different industries?
We are, yes. I've been asked over the years, why we don't focus on one particular industry, and COVID was a great reason why. In 2020, one of the hardest hit industries was aerospace. And you can imagine, right, Boeing stopped making the MAX jet. And so all the suppliers that supplied Boeing were almost out of business. They had no business. And so if we had only been in the aerospace industry, we would have almost been out of business. So we're a very diverse company. And so we're in about 15 different industries, from any type of industrial manufacturing to healthcare, IT software. We're very involved in transportation, distribution. So we do that really just so we don't have all our eggs in one basket.
And clients will come to you when they're buying or selling or both?
Yeah, good question. We represent sellers for
Okay.
the most part. And so we have a full business development department out of Florida. And so we're calling 100, 200 business owners every day in every different industry all across the country. We do business in 40 states in the United States. And so it's really a matter of just trying to catch them at the right time, because with the baby boomer generation, you and I are both probably in the baby boomer sector, so many business owners that have owned a company for 20, 30 years are now evaluating what they want to do, and they're 60, 65, 70 years old, and they don't want to put their family fortune at risk anymore, and maybe they're tired, they're risk averse from growing, and so it's really a good time to be considering selling. And so
This may be a naive question, but do you like to buy a company when they're got a very healthy company and a very healthy balance sheet, or do you like to find a company that might be distressed?
A really good question. Actually, there are different companies within my industry that focus on different things. We only focus on successful companies, growing companies, but there are companies that are in the investment banking world that absolutely only sell distressed companies. And there's a different skill set to that. There's different buyers that would buy distressed companies. So what we're looking for always is companies that are at least 20 years old, at least 10 million in revenue, and our business size, enterprise value, is 10 to 500 million. So that's considered the lower middle market up to the middle market. 500 million is kind of considered middle market in my world. And so yeah, we're always looking for different size companies, different style companies, different type companies, but they all have one thing in common. They've been around a long time and they're successful.
Well, I have to compliment you on your flashy outfit, because
It's normal for me. So.
It kind of says, "Here I am, world, I'm here." Let's talk a little bit about your faith.
Well, I appreciate that. I tell everybody that joins our company, and this year we've hired 14 new people, so we're extremely busy. We've been very blessed, and there's only two things that to me are non-negotiable, and that's integrity and work ethic. And I tell every single person that we bring on that. And so I have to practice what I preach, or else I'm a hypocrite, and I don't want to be that way. So try to really have pillars that are important, and we treat everybody with respect in our company, and treat our clients with respect, treat buyers with respect, and the biblical adage, treat others as you would hope to be treated yourselves, very true in our world. And like a lot of different industries, there's good and bad, right? There's good and bad lawyers, there's good and bad journalists, there's good and bad investment bankers. So we want to be on the good side.
So having your faith guide you that way, are you always looking for the win-win? I mean, if you win and somebody else loses, that's not a great deal.
You know, it's such a cliche. I hate to use it, but I use it all the time. So our world's very win-win. We will always err on the side of the other person's going to come out okay. And I tell every client that we have that we have a team of 4 on every deal, and we have 300 deals in 40 states. So I tell the client that my 3 guys are working for you. Okay, they're going to help you. They're going to put the package together, market the company, find the buyers, do all that stuff. I told them that's not my role. Okay, as the owner of the company, I'm really advocating in the middle. And I have to be able to listen to a buyer. I have to understand their needs. I have to and I can't be as biased as my people are. I need them to be a little biased. But I truly want to be able to speak the truth to a client and say, okay, this is something that we need to give on, and this is something else we don't need to give on. So I truly try to find myself in the middle of a negotiation and not be biased in one-sided.
I applaud you. I mean, you don't get as successful as you are and do it for as long as you have by cutting corners or, you know, not doing unto others. So congratulations on your success.
Thank you. Yeah, people find out the frauds really quickly. And I'm proud of the fact we've been in business 26 years, and we do try to live up to that, so I appreciate that.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We'll have to have you back again soon. We're going to end with the website, which is ebbgroup.net. Eric White, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.